Well, I think documentary films are an extremely powerful medium for conservation storytelling, for creating awareness as well as engagement. Because I think first, let me start with saying that you only protect and you only sort of stand up for what you love. And documentaries over the years, over decades, wildlife and nature documentaries have made people fall in love with the planet, fall in love with the natural world, fall in love with animals that they would never have seen in their actual lives if it wasn't for the efforts of wildlife filmmakers over the years who've gone out to really remote places, actually filmed these animals under some of the most incredibly difficult challenges and sat through extreme environments to tell those stories and bring those stories to audiences globally. So that's how I fell in love with nature as well, seeing places that I otherwise would not have via the screen. And then I went out there and became a documentary filmmaker myself. So I think in terms of the medium itself, it's a very powerful medium to engage people in sort of conservation and wildlife and caring for the planet. And I think it's completely irreplaceable in what it brings to conservation. This is a very interesting question because the wildlife and natural history film industry, like the makers of wildlife documentaries, are entirely based in the UK. So the industry is headquartered in the UK, specifically in Bristol. So 90% of the content you see on channels like National Geographic and BBC and Discovery and various Netflix and all the wildlife documentaries, most are actually made here in Bristol in the United Kingdom. So this is where the industry is in terms of the creators and the directors and producers. But the stories are very often based in countries like India, where there's a whole lot of wildlife. There's lots and lots of environmental stories to be told in spaces like that. We have some of the most diverse landscapes in our country. We've got everything from the Himalayas down to the Andamans, from the spectacular diversity of the northeast to deserts to the west. We've got so much to offer in terms of natural history and the wildlife that India sort of is proud to have. So I think in terms of a collaboration, it's a very natural collaboration because we have the creators here in the UK, we've got the stories in India, there are filmmakers in India now who are very well trained to be able to tell those stories, and that partnership is a very natural partnership that exists already and is getting stronger every single day. So, and wildlife content very much is something that's a real unifier because you'll find old people watching it, you'll find kids watching it, you'll find people from Western society watching it, you'll find villages in India watching it as well. Like, it's something that a huge cross section of society enjoys watching. So I think in terms of a collaboration when it comes to natural history filmmaking, it's been one of UK's greatest exports, this industry, but at the same time, this industry depends on places like India, like Africa, like various other places that are rich in wildlife and natural history to tell those stories. So it's a very natural collaboration that will only go from strength to strength, I think. I absolutely think it's, I don't know how exactly it might differ, but I've found the energy at the India Global Forum absolutely so enriching. There's so much ambition, so much passion. There's just so much sort of talent under one roof, and just walk away from it very, very energized. And I think it really speaks it's a great representation of the very good relationship that, a very authentic and genuinely good relationship that India and UK have on some level. It goes to show here as well because there's been so many great partnerships that have come of it, and yeah, it's fantastic for us.